Matthew Stuckey here from Verity Baptist Church, Manila, and I wanted to provide you information on the upcoming missions trip here from January 14th to January 20th and the launch of the church plant here in Manila. Now, I made an earlier video that gave practical tips for those that are coming in for the missions trip, and I'd recommend that you watch that video if you haven't gotten a chance. I'll link it down below in the description, but that's going to give you a lot of practical tips of things that you need to be aware of. But in this video, I'm more giving you kind of a schedule of the soul winning events and what's going to go on this week. Now, I want to mention to you just a few things as we start this video. Number one, obviously, you're coming here for vacation. I'm not a dictator, so you're welcome to do what you want. I mean, if you say, hey, Brother Stuckey, I don't want to come for any of the soul winning, but I just want to come to the church services and get baptized and go touring around Manila, hey, no problem. That's great. I mean, there's a lot of great things to do here. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. And so I'm going to give a basic schedule of things, but you're welcome to do what you want. If you want to take vacation days, you want to take a break, you can choose to do whatever you want, obviously. I'm not trying to get you to just go soul winning until you drop. Obviously, you're coming here for vacation, you want to serve the Lord, you want to do a great work, you want to go soul winning, but you also want to have some vacation time. There's no problem with that at all. And so another thing I want you to keep in mind is we need to be flexible when it comes to events like this. We're going to have a ton of people coming for this event. Last year we had more than 80 people soul winning for the event, maybe not 80 at one time. This year I think we're going to have more people. We're going to have so many people that are going to be a part of this soul winning event. And so last time when we did this in April, we had a plan. We spent a lot of time preparing. And on the first day, we got tons of people saved the first day, but we realized, man, we need to change some things in order to be more effective. And so I just ask you to be, kind of long-suffering with us and flexible, and realize the schedule that we're making now, depending on how many people show up and various events that could take place, we might change the schedule a little bit. And so I just want you to keep that in mind, that as far as we know, this will work the best, but there could be some changes coming up. And so just be flexible. Now, in terms of when you actually arrive at the airport, before I get into the schedule, because some people have asked me about getting picked up at the airport and things like that. With so many people coming for this event, honestly, it would be chaos if we tried to arrange rides for everybody. And there's a few reasons why. One, pretty much very few people at our church have a vehicle. Most people in the Philippines don't have a vehicle. I don't have a vehicle. I don't plan to get one. Public transportation is very cheap and easy, and it's very common. And so most people don't even have a vehicle. It's not like we have people at our church would be able to pick people up. But not only that, if you arrange a pickup, you must have your phone available to call and to figure out where they are. You have to understand there's a ton of people at the airport. It's not just maybe like in America where you can kind of just step outside and there's your ride and he can easily see you. There's going to be a ton of people, and honestly it would probably cause you more confusion. And if we tried to arrange all these rides, I'm sure there'd be some mistakes and everything. So it's honestly much better if people kind of arrange their own rides. But I want to give you some advice on how to arrange your ride and what you can do. One thing you can do is download Grab on your phone, and everybody should download Grab if they have a smartphone, because Grab is something, it's like Uber in the United States. You can have somebody pick you up right there and drop you off. It's a set price. And so you could have Grab on your phone, and you could land and you could schedule a Grab and have somebody pick you up. You'll have to have access to your phone though to make sure when they're coming and things like that, and be able to text them or call them when they're there, because there's so many people that are going to be there arriving at the airport. So you'll have to have your phone ready if you want to arrange that with your phone company to have a cellular service and things like that. Generally at the airport there should be a Grab station open. I've heard about this in the last couple months. I don't know exactly where that is at the airport, but there should be one. But if not, definitely download Grab on your phone, and that's one option, and it might be your cheapest option. But another option would be to have your hotel pick you up. And so a lot of the hotels, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, they will pick you up if you give them your schedule, and once you land you can call them. And another option is when you get there is to get a yellow cab. Now if you're going to get a cab, you're probably going to wait in line for it, but and it might be more expensive, but it might be easier if you don't want to try to arrange a ride ahead of time. Now if you have any questions, if you're at the airport, you don't know where your ride is, you're confused about whatever, you can ask people to help you out. And I generally recommend asking people that are policemen or people that actually work for the airport, and they can try to help you out of where you need to go. And so generally they're going to speak pretty decent English, but sometimes you might have a little bit of trouble in translation. And so I'm not trying to scare you. You're going to be fine when you land, but definitely have a plan. You don't want to just go there and just kind of assume, oh, everything's going to work out. Honestly, we're just not going to be able to pick up everyone. There's a ton of people coming here for this event. It'll be way too hard to organize, and with the amount of traffic there is in Manila, trying to time stuff perfectly and figure out when people are landing, it would be a lot of chaos. So those are some things to keep in mind. As for the schedule of events, so we're going to basically have two main soul-winning areas. Okay, one area is Rizal Park, and another area is Intramuros. Now, in terms of Rizal Park, and we'll have a few backup options, which I'll mention here in a bit. In Rizal Park, there's a few things to keep in mind. There are less people in Rizal Park in the morning. So last time during the missions trip in April, some people went out kind of early in the morning, and there's just a lot fewer people there. There are people, but they're not as many. And one thing you have to understand is a lot of the people early in the morning, they don't speak English because of the fact they live on the streets. They're homeless. And homeless is a lot different here in the Philippines than in America. But I'm not saying that those people are bad people. I mean, they could be receptive and get saved, but honestly, a lot of them just don't understand English. That's why they live in the streets. They don't have, proper education where they can easily get jobs, because most jobs are going to require you to have some sort of degree or something. And so a lot of them, they don't speak English. They haven't been trained in school to speak English. And so if you go out early in the morning and you spend your time there, there's a good chance you're going to be spinning your wheels. I'm not saying you can't find somebody. I'm just saying that, it's hot in the Philippines and you could get exhausted, and it might be better not to go as early. And so that's a couple things to keep in mind. When you're in Rizal Park, you want to try to talk to people that are sitting and they seem like they're not doing anything, or people that seem like they have free time in general. Obviously, there's exceptions. I remember in April, I stopped a group of people that were walking and I was able to get them to listen. But if you do get people to listen, you probably want to talk to them in the shade. They probably don't want to stand in the sun where it's really hot. So you might want to say, hey, can we go over here and talk? It might make it more effective. I know people that had good success with that. So those are some things to keep in mind with Rizal Park. Now, in terms of Intramuros, some of the advantages of Intramuros is that there is going to be probably no language barrier at all, because these are people that are in college and they're having classes being taught in English and things like that. And so Intramuros, there's not going to be a language barrier. And also, another thing to keep in mind, though, is when you're going to talk to people, you don't really want to talk to people that are going into class. You want to talk to people that are going out of class. Because if people are going into class, they'll give you maybe 3 minutes and then they got to leave. So you want to talk to people that are going out of class. And the thing is with Intramuros, it's very effective, but you got to be bold. You got to be willing to stop people that are going by and not be shy. You have to make the initiative. And so that could be tough, and that's a good thing about a lot of people going and motivating each other, because you see your friend being bold, and it gives you confidence to be bold. And so it's a little bit different, though, than just going door to door, and so it might take a little bit of boldness. It's different. So you're kind of stepping out there on the water a little bit, but it's very effective. I mean, people that went to Intramuros, they got a lot of people saved because there's no language barrier, and there's so many people that you're stopping one right after the another. Eventually someone wants to talk to you, and you're pretty much preaching the gospel just for hours and hours and hours. So that's a very effective area. And you say, why don't we send everybody there? Because I think we have too many people to send everybody there. And so we're going to send some to Rizal Park and some to Intramuros. Some of the backup options are residential if needed. There's some residential nearby, but it's not as many because it's more of a tourist area. And also potentially schools. And I say potentially schools because, honestly, we're very busy here at Verity Baptist Church Manila. We're going to be moving into a new building by the end of this month, and we spent a lot of time looking for a building. We want to get that set up so right after the missions trip we can be ready for it. And so the schools are a possibility. We might try to get that door opened up, but it's not a guarantee. And quite honestly, in April we had an amazing success. And just talking to people one-on-one in groups and at Intramuros. And I believe personally that the greatest way to preach the gospel and most effective is just one-on-one. And so we might try to open up that opportunity. Obviously it's exciting and it's going to be fun, but it's not a guarantee. And if we don't, though, you're going to be preaching the gospel a lot. It's going to be an exciting time. I mean, April was an amazing trip, and people are going to have a great time here as well. And so those are some things to keep in mind. Now, the general schedule of when we're going to be meeting, On Monday through Thursday, this is the general schedule. Monday, January 14th through Thursday, it's going to be the same. We're going to meet at the Lapu-Lapu Monument, otherwise known as the Statue of Centennial of Freedom, and this is in Rizal Park, the Lapu-Lapu Monument, at 11 a.m. You say, why so late? Because there's less people there in the morning, and because there's going to be more of a language barrier there in the morning. And so the early session, it's going to be a little bit less effective than the afternoon session, because the afternoon session, you have all kinds of people that are in their 20s just going there for vacation. Rizal Park's a big tourist spot. They're just there for the day. But we're going to meet at 11 a.m., and we're going to divide into groups, and we have 4 different areas we're going to go soul winning in Rizal Park. We got it divided into sections. So we'll have like a group leader that will take a group of 10, 15, 20 people, depending on how many people show up. And we'll also have a group that's going to go to Intramuros. Now at Intramuros, we could probably have 20 to 30 people and be fine, and we'll see how that works after the first day, see if we can maybe even send more people. And we'll send a group to Intramuros where they're going to be preaching the gospel there. That's really effective. That's really great for people that are single and you have no problem making it back on your own and stuff like that. Rizal Park, it's probably very close to where most people's hotels are, so it's very much organized. It's closed in. It's not as complicated. So those are going to be the areas. Rizal Park and Intramuros are going to be the main areas, and it's going to be like that Monday through Thursday. And since we're dividing into groups, basically, the group themselves is going to decide when they're going to take a break for lunch. We have way too many people to arrange a set time for when people are arriving for lunch. It's not going to be possible. And so basically, each group's going to decide, how long they want to go soul winning. But in general, it's going to be from 11 to 1 is going to be soul winning on Monday through Thursday. I'd suggest a lunch break of about 2 hours, 1 to 3. You can make it less if you want. It's up to you. It's just that it's hot outside and you might get tired. And then soul winning from 3 to 5. So that's 4 hours of soul winning where you're going to preach the gospel a lot. And if you're extra motivated and you want to go out longer, then go for it. But I don't want to overburden people. So the general schedule will be 11 to 1 soul winning, 1 to 3 lunch, 3 to 5 for soul winning. And the only thing is on Monday through Thursday, on that Wednesday night, we do have church service at 7 p.m. And it's going to be in the Tropics Function Room at the Bayview Park Hotel. And so 7 p.m. on Wednesday night, the Tropics Function Room. Now on Friday, we're going to have the same schedule as Monday through Thursday. The only thing is there's less people there at Intramuros on Friday, so we might send a little bit fewer people, but otherwise it's going to be the same schedule. And on Saturday is a vacation day, so you're welcome to go and do whatever you want. But I do know there's people here that want to go soul winning on that Saturday, and I'm not sure how many, but I know some people are only coming for a few of the days, so we will have a set time for soul winning on Saturday. Now, on Saturday, you're not going to find people to Intramuros, by and large. There's going to be very few. So the soul winning is going to be at Rizal Park. Once again, we'll meet at the Lapu-Lapu Monument, but we're going to meet at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. to noon is soul winning, 2 hours for lunch, 12 to 2, and then 2 to 4 soul winning again. Once again, you're welcome to go out for longer, but we don't want to overburden people, and we're getting done a little bit earlier so people can have a chance to go to dinner or do something. And you're welcome to stay out for longer if you want to. That's perfectly fine. And so that's going to be the schedule Saturday. But in general, it's a vacation day. If you want to go and do something, it would be a good time to maybe get small groups together and decide to do something. We're not going to be arranging everybody's vacation and what they're going to do. But if you want to do something, get together, talk with some of your friends, and arrange, a trip somewhere. I know they went to a nice hiking place the last time in April. A lot of people to Gai Tai. And there's a lot of great things to do. But we're just not going to arrange everybody's vacation. We gave a list of possibilities. If you want to check into those, you're welcome to. And on Sunday, we're going to be meeting at the Tropics Function Room again for church. And we have service from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So what we do at Verity Baptist Church Manila is we have back-to-back services with just a small break in between. So we'll have like a 10-minute break in between services. And so we're going to have service from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And right afterwards, we're going to be having baptisms for about 30 minutes. So right afterwards, we'll have baptisms. And then we'll give people a chance to meet for lunch. And we'll have soul winning at 3 p.m. Once again, meeting at the Lapu-Lapu Monument. Okay. Now, this is the general schedule of what we're going to do. But, honestly, some changes could take place. And just send me an email. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Just to let you know, for the people that are preaching, on the Wednesday, we're planning on having Brother Richard Symes, Evangelist Richard Symes, preach. and Pastor Jason Robinson. And I'm excited about that because those are both two of my closest friends. I've known them for, a long time. So it's great seeing them live for the Lord. It'll be great having them preach at our church. And then on Sunday, Pastor Jimenez will be preaching, and then Pastor Logan Robertson is going to be preaching. So as you'll see, we have a lot of people coming in for this event, people that you might know from the internet world, so to speak, people that you listen to preach and things like that. And so that's going to be an exciting time. But I would encourage everybody who's coming, if you're a guy, come prepared to preach. Opportunities might come at schools or police station or things like that. But also, we might even have preaching before we go out soul winning in the mornings, have someone just preach a short 10-minute sermon. And, no guarantees on that, but you should always come ready to preach and be prepared. And there's an open door for people that are ready for it. And so these are the things I can think of offhand. I'll have all this, the description listed below, but let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. And thank you, and God bless.